Live. See here. Here we go. Let's go. Let's talk about Peacemaker Season 2. Quite the exciting start of an episode. I know for me, when I got right into it, I was just like, whoa, this is where you're beginning? So let's get right on into it.
Welcome to the Dicta's Den.
What is up, everybody? Hope everybody is having a good day out there. For us, it is Peacemaker Saturday, I guess, or I don't know. We don't have a special name for it. Best thing I thought of right offhand. But we're here.
We'll think of something.
Yeah, well, we'll figure. I guess we'll figure out something special for this.
Yeah.
But Peacemaker Night to talk about the beginning of Peacemaker Season 2, and back I have Andrew. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. As we continue our journey through talking about the DCU, as we're now going to be talking about weekly these new episodes of Peacemaker, which is very, very exciting. Anybody that didn't catch last week's review or recap, I guess you could say, of Season 1 of Peacemaker, we talked about that, which is essentially a canon show other than some references here and there. And one big thing with the Justice League, which we'll get right into. But before we get into the nitty gritty, and before we get into Peacemaker stuff, just a couple channel updates and all that. Anybody new here, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Helps out. But also, normally I do a comic show on Saturdays, and recently it's been on Saturday nights, or not Saturdays. Oh my gosh, Sunday nights. And that usually conflicts with when you do Camera Focus, which is a lot of times where I haven't been able to do that. But announcement regarding that is that all Comic Den is actually moving its time. We're skipping tomorrow, and we're going to be starting at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern going forward, starting next week. So next week, the Comic Den will be back with that. Nice. And as well, I ended up doing a big Twitch stream playing Satisfactory with actually our mutual friend Michael.
Yeah,
nice. We've been into gaming some stuff recently, mainly a bunch of Satisfactory, which if you don't know what that is, it's a big factory building game. It is addictive as all hell once you get into it. And so anyway, we've been hooked into playing that. And I think after this stream, I think we're talking about doing some Fortnite. And so we may also end up streaming that too. So yeah, it's just been a busy day with me doing a bunch of streaming. So anybody that is into the gaming stuff, go check out the Dingus on Twitch, where there's a bunch of fun stuff over there. You know, I have my Twitch set up where you can type in exclamation mark YouTube and it'll show up my YouTube link. But I do not have that the other way around here on YouTube. So I need to set that up. But yeah. So yeah, make sure to check out all that stuff. Nice. And with school starting up, I'm not promising anything beyond these shows and the Comic Den. So just weekly things on weekends is what everybody should hopefully be able to expect from us here at the
just have notifications on, and you'll never miss.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when it actually works, you know, they don't always work.
Right. That's true. That is true.
So, but I mean, they do seem to help a good bit of time. So, you know, but yeah. But anyway, that's as far as channel updates go. Nice. Peacemaker Season 2. What were your overall thoughts on this first episode?
I thought it was pretty good. I liked that how it addressed the whole getting into the DCU and how these going forward, we can see how the characters are most likely going to end up there with the quantum realm closet thing that Peacemaker's dad has. That's what it is, right? A quantum closet.
Well, you see, it's interesting which we'll get into because the quantum closet. See, they changed some things, and we'll get to that in a moment.
Yeah,
but it's some interesting aspects that have changed and how they're approaching this multiverse story. But yeah, I thought it was a great start. It's
Yeah.
definitely
Outside of this one particular scene that I'm sure if you've seen the episode, you know what I'm talking about. It was a pretty enjoyable episode. I gotta say the intro, obviously the opening credit intro from season one. I love that. I love the song that goes with it.
yeah.
I like this one a lot too. I think it'll grow on me because obviously I'm not familiar with the song, but I think it'll grow with each
That's the
episode.
Yeah, that's the thing with James Gunn that I love is that I don't know majority of the songs that he picks,
Hmm.
which is cool. And so, anytime he picks the songs, it's like, oh, these are great. It's
Oh
like
yeah,
I almost rarely do I dislike a song that he picks. And
yeah,
even then, if it's a song I dislike, it usually fits what's going on. And
exactly.
that's the thing is it makes up for it always in that regard. And
Hmm.
so his soundtrack's always great. And what I like about this new intro, and this is such a great place to just dive into,
Hmm.
is it doesn't feel like it tries to one up um,
Right, exactly.
the first one of Do You Want to Taste It, right? And
Hmm.
and that was one of those things that blew up in a way that not even Warner Bros. Themselves was expecting.
Hmm.
That intro just blew up and became such a huge social media hit.
Hmm.
Like so many views on TikTok, like billions or something crazy of views like that on
Yeah.
TikTok and all the other platforms. And so like it was such a big hit of a song. Uh,
Hmm.
and so I like that instead. And that song, when you look into the meaning of it and everything too, and James Gunn breaks this down on his Peacemaker podcast, it's like the
Hmm.
meaning and what like how it really affects the show. It changes from episode one all the
It
way to the end
does.
of episode eight, which is great. And so
And I
what I
wonder how
really
that'll apply with this song, like if the same
exactly
thing. Yeah.
exactly, and so part of what he's saying is like he's not trying to one up doing that song because he knows
Hmm.
that it's such a big iconic thing, and I've seen a lot of people talk about like yeah, I like the first one more, and it's like that's I think a valid opinion with you're loving something so much the first time around, it's kind of hard to not go over to something else. Um,
Hmm.
but I personally thought both of them were great intros. I
Oh
love this
yeah.
new one. "Oh Lord" by Foxy Shazam was quite the exciting beginning song. I thought it
Hmm.
was great. Yeah, I appreciate watching their dance choreography with it. It
Oh
was
yeah.
so good. Seeing them all and seeing all the new and returning faces in it. And what I thought was a wonderful dance sequence, and I can't wait to see that every week and um, probably rewatch that on its own as well several times as well, like I did the first one. So
Oh yeah.
I remember when that first one came out, I was like hooked on watching that as well for
I
like a
know. I was
couple of
like,
times. Like,
it's like the X-Men '97 intro. I'm like, not skipping that.
right? Yeah, 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 right. It's like, oh, you gotta watch that intro. And so
Hmm.
they did a great job, I think, with this new one, and I really like the song as well. It's one of
Hmm.
those where, if you remember, it was revealed actually at San Diego Comic-Con that's
Oh.
what the song was going to be. And James Gunn introduced it in a really cool way there, where he had what did he call it? It was like a Peacemaker concert thing that he had going on.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
remember the name of it, but what he
Hmm.
did is he had one of the bands. Oh, what was the band's name? I don't remember. But one of the bands that played in season one. It's not the main season one theme, but it's
Oh,
somebody
okay.
else that played from season one. Is it called like Steel Panthers or something like that? I think
Hmm.
that that
Mm.
that might be it. But anyway, um, they um, they played it along. They played there along with Foxy Shazam, and that's how James Gunn introduced the theme song of this. So it's cool that I was able to listen to that song ahead of time, and then you see all the dance choreography with it. It's like, oh, it just fits it really well,
Nice.
which is cool. Welcome in, Rocketo. Hello there, Rocketo.
General Kenobi.
Um, welcome in, and great to see you here. But anyway, but yeah, I love the song choices, and there's other great songs on this too. I don't remember the names of any of the other songs or anything, but
Yeah,
I
I don't either.
thoroughly enjoyed all the music in this episode. I need to go through and
Hmm.
like add all the Peacemaker music to my library, honestly, because
Yeah.
I really enjoy I mean, just rock music in general is my favorite kind of music.
Mm-hmm.
It's what I listen to. I would say 90% of the time. Of I'm not saying I dislike other kind, but that's just my favorite.
Right.
It's my wheelhouse, and so that's
Mm-hmm.
what I listen to a lot of, and that's what a lot of what Peacemaker is.
Yeah.
Is pretty much just all this great variety of rock music that I normally don't listen to, and so that's part of the reason why I love Peacemaker too. Is as a soundtrack that
Mm-hmm.
while it may not fit everybody's taste, and very much like the show as well. I think that's an important thing to say about Peacemaker. Peacemaker is a great
Exactly.
show, but it's absolutely not for everybody, and
No.
that's part of one of the things I really like about um, what they're doing with the DCU is having these variety of stories to be told
Mm-hmm.
uh, that just ranges from all these different things, and we're seeing this automatically right off the bat with the first 2 years of content that we're getting.
Yeah.
When you're going from something like Superman to Peacemaker to Supergirl to Clayface and Green Lantern, it's what a great variety of content where none of those are tonally or should hopefully feel the same. Obviously we don't know how the latter three there will turn out, but
Yeah.
as far as we know here, Superman had a distinct feel. It had the feels of what a Superman story should have, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And Peacemaker is kept up being Peacemaker in this case, which is very important
Well,
and
I
great
know
to do.
James has said that's one of his goals is to make each project have its own tone.
Right.
And that might even prevent like the general audience from getting quote unquote superhero fatigue. Um,
Yeah.
because
It's
like sometimes with Marvels, I'll even say that sometimes their projects can feel the same. So when you
mm,
get a Thunderbolts or a Fantastic Four, they feel so special because it's different than what we're used to. Um, so I'm excited to see how it turns
yeah,
out.
yeah. Rockito did say, I like the musical choices for the first episode, but the intro is a downgrade from Do You Want to Taste It for him? Which, I like I said, I understand that for sure.
Yeah.
Um, I really
I
enjoyed
think the
it.
first one was so iconic, it's gonna be hard to top it, to
Well,
be
yeah,
honest.
that's exactly. I think that's 100% right. Do You Want to Taste It was such a just a great like out of nowhere thing you weren't expecting for it to open
Mhm.
with, and now
You would
you
not
have this
expect a
expectation.
superhero show intro to be like that.
You now have an
Yeah.
expectation of a great
Yeah.
intro, and that's the big thing within this part. But for me, I love both songs.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. For me, I don't know if it. For me, I just look in a way where it's like I think they're both great songs. It's kind of hard to pick one over the other because they each try to achieve
Mhm.
something different. I feel like, other than they're both show
Yeah.
intros, and so I don't know. I'm
I think you'd
just
say whichever
an
one
enjoyer
came
of both.
first kinda scenario,
Yeah, yeah.
you
I think
know?
if Oh Lord came first, um, saying theoretically they both fit the season just as well.
Yeah.
It would have been a similar situation where it would have just blown up as well. I think I'd agree with that statement.
Mhm.
So. But yes, Peacemaker is off to an exciting start. And not only do we have a great intro, but we also got a big change. Technically,
Yeah.
before the show even starts, we've got
Mhm.
previously in the DCU confirming the events of Peacemakers within the DCU. And as we saw, everything was canon to that Prime Earth. They were
Yeah.
essentially that story of Peacemaker season one was all within that same Earth. But there's a couple references that isn't canon. But the big thing when we saw it addressed
That was
was there
his,
is
original trilogy-esque George Lucas change without
so,
having to go back and spend the money for season 1.
right. And he said he would have
Yeah.
done that if they had the money to. Uh,
Yeah.
but but what we did see though is it's not the Justice League, but it was the Justice Gang, including
Mhm.
Superman and Supergirl, where they're not technically part of it, but they just team up with them, much like how Superman and Supergirl, or Superman was with the Justice
Mhm.
League and or not Justice League, just Justice Gang
Gang.
in the Superman movie. Right.
I
There's
wonder who
no
they
Justice
got.
League yet.
Right, exactly. I wonder who they got to be the doubles for Superman and Supergirl there. Imagine that bragging right. I am Superman in Peacemaker season 2, you know?
It probably wouldn't have been too hard of a thing where it was just
Right.
probably a bunch of stitched together footage, I think.
Yeah.
It was probably at a point too where they already filmed enough of Supergirl where they probably could have just been like, "Hey, can you like get a shot of Supergirl in this pose for me? Thanks."
Yeah.
And they did it that way. I would assume. You
Yeah, put the
obviously don't
Justice
know.
Gang in front of a green screen, you know?
Yeah, So
No,
I
I
think it
liked
was
it.
very stitched. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a fun way to put it together because what I thought was going to happen. We didn't really talk about theories of what we were expecting from season 2 too much.
Yeah.
But the one sort of theory I had with how they were going to address it, obviously it's different now, but what I thought what they were going to do is, remember the whole thread of season 1 was the butterflies, and we know Peacemaker is not a mentally stable person.
Yeah.
Actually, the ending shot of the show involves him imagining that his dad is sitting right beside him, even though he's dead. And
Mhm.
so I thought there was going to be some mental thing where he thought it was the Justice League, even though it wasn't the Justice League. That he was essentially going
That
crazy.
would be funny.
And that's what I thought was going to happen, is that he would have brought it up and people have been like, there was no Justice League. What are you talking about?
Be like, don't gaslight me. You know,
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought was
Yeah.
going to happen.
that
Obviously,
would
it
have been
didn't happen.
funny.
But I will give credit James Gunn though. I didn't think the Justice King thing was a clever way, and not to necessarily make him look like a stupider person, because we do see, while that would have fit with Peacemaker, my theory, we are seeing a bit of a big redemption arc for Peacemaker in
Yeah.
this, and not being made out to be as stupid of a character, and especially not in this episode either. You see Peacemaker deal with some interesting internal struggles, which
Mhm.
we're not quite expecting to see. So, but yeah, very exciting right off the bat with the Justice Gang right at the beginning.
Do you remember? Did they say what the time jump is between the seasons? I don't remember. It's not like a couple weeks. I
I
think
think
it's
it's 6 months. I could be
that's
wrong.
right. There's a 6 months later. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Um,
because there's an opening scene where Peacemaker goes through the closet and he sees the door. And then,
yes,
yeah, it says 6 months later, and the Atabaya picks him up. That's right. Okay.
right.
Yeah.
So,
Oh.
but yeah, let's delve right into that opening scene that you're talking about.
Mhm.
He opens up the door, goes right into that quantum storage chamber, whatever the heck it's called.
We'll just call it Quantumania, you know.
I call it Quantum Mania. That triggers me in ways that you don't want to know. Um,
Oh, no.
yeah, so I love that the show just got right into it with that scene.
Mhm.
It didn't wait a single beat to get right into what we were doing about this being a different kind of multiverse story.
Mhm.
And it kind of confused me for a moment. I won't be alive where or where I won't lie of, I was like, okay, we're going into this closet that we've known of.
Mhm.
But then it turns out, oh, the whole time this was a bridge between realities, apparently. And
Mhm.
that, I mean, I guess that makes more sense within itself, of that it's being a pocket dimension that could go somewhere else
Yeah. Very
within.
Superman-esque,
Yeah.
which
It's
they even
definitely
kind of address there.
exactly right. It pops
Mhm.
up readings, and similar to what was going on with Superman. So it's an interesting thing, though, that it's a thing there. But I never thought of, when watching that first season, that the closet could be something more than what we saw there. So
Yeah.
already with expanding on that, it kind of like blew my mind right off the
And,
bat, where I just wasn't expecting that.
yeah, it's almost like a Narnia closet because there's even that, like, one creature thing, cyborg thing that comes out of a door. Um, so, yeah,
And you're
we
like,
don't
what the
really fully
heck?
know the extent of the size. I mean, it could be,
Yeah.
you know.
See, that's going to be exciting to get into, and where it could potentially go from there. I'm very, very excited to
Mhm.
see the potential of that, because we've gotten teasers and the first trailer of like all the different places that they could go. Um,
Mhm.
but obviously, where this door goes to is Peacemaker finds another reality, which would essentially be what he would envision as his own perfect reality,
Mhm.
where he's part of a happy family with
Yeah, the
his
dynamic was
father.
it the dynamic trio or
The
something like
top
that?
trio, I think they're called the
Top
top
trio, that's right,
trio.
that's right, top trio, yeah.
Where you have the top trio. You got Peacemaker. You have his father, who's still alive, but being a very caring father, and then
Yeah, kinda threw me off.
his brother Keith, who I don't remember his superhero name. He was given a particular superhero name. I could look it up here in a moment.
You know, if someone asked me to show an actor's range, I would say Robert Patrick in Peacemaker season 1 and Peacemaker season 2, because a complete polar opposite type of dad, um,
Yeah,
you know?
for sure. Which is
Mhm.
definitely very exciting. Um, but yeah, we get right into seeing this alternate parallel reality there, and going out of order of things here in a moment, but like let's just delve into this alternate reality talk where
Mm-hmm.
that's where so much of this is, of where we get a bunch of, actually there's some fun Easter eggs in it. So the top trio isn't a thing in the comics.
Oh, okay.
However, what is a thing in the comics is there was at least two different characters that they referenced of fighting against, and newspaper clippings or whatever that they saved there. One was like this colorful blob, and then some
Mm-hmm.
other was like some other what was it, like ape creature or something. I'm trying to remember exactly what. But that was really cool to
Mm-hmm.
see those. I'm trying to see if I can find exactly who those characters were here. That has gotten revealed of who they are. Apparently, a bunch of other stuff has come out, but yeah, that's very cool.
Well, and Peacemaker runs eventually the second time he goes through the door. Uh, the other Peacemaker runs into him, and has these, like, he calls them magic stars, but they're like ninja stars that he like throws at Peacemaker, and it kind of tears up his back. Um, and this Peacemaker dies in a kind of a gruesome way.
Yeah,
Um, I saw the behind the scenes that James shared on Threads. It was pretty cool. How they did that, but basically he's like, is it like a magnet or something? Like he's like pulled up and he's impaled and then he falls.
Lens
Um,
they're doing a special bunch of special lens effects and stuff. I don't remember
mhm.
exactly how, but see, like the episode didn't shy away right from the end of getting into that Peacemaker battle at the end, which is really
Yeah.
cool. Which I thought was like really cool. And they did that so cleverly too, of how
Hmm.
you can't tell when one's a body double or not. They both feel like it's John
Exactly.
Cena. Like, talking
Hmm.
about some of the most creative, like a lot of times when you see doubles, you can kind of figure, oh,
You
that
like see like
one's
the
the double
hair,
or
like
that
something.
one's,
Yeah.
And I know this
Yeah.
is a recent where they also did it really well, but have you watched the movie Sinners?
Yes, I love that movie.
Yeah, that was such a great movie. One of the best movies I think has come out this year, along with Superman.
Hmm.
Where in that, we see two Michael B. Jordans, and that was done really well as
It was done
well,
so well.
showing the
There were people
two.
online that was thought Michael B. Jordan had a secret twin brother.
I know, right?
Yeah, and I
I
don't
was
blame him.
blown
I
away.
really don't.
I was blown away of being like, you
Yeah.
can't tell who's the real one almost in that
Hmm.
movie. And that's the same thing in the scene where you couldn't tell either of just how filmmaking has come along is just phenomenal. And seeing it, especially in that scene, was like a big thing of where it just kind of like blew my mind of,
Hmm.
you literally focus in on seeing Peacemaker, John Cena's Peacemaker, and then it essentially goes over to the other one, and it's like they're feeling like one shot and both seeing his face. It's like incredible how they pull off that in fight scene. Not
Yeah.
only that,
Yeah.
but like what a great way to um to like begin the season as well, of
Hmm.
introducing the multiverse aspect, but then also showing uh, just throwing us right into the stakes of the show as well, in a way of, well, now Peacemaker's gonna have to deal with him killing himself. Not
Yeah,
in
he's
that
gonna
way, but
right. Yeah, he not the way you're thinking. It's
Uh,
almost like, does he leave? I almost wonder. My theory is almost going forward that he tries to convince Hardcore, Adebayo, and Economos to leave. I guess Vigilante too, to leave the current reality they're in and
yeah,
come to the, because his dads and his brother aren't alive in the other one, so he really doesn't have anything other than his friends tying him there.
right. Yeah,
So but we see that Hardcore can't get a job anywhere due to Waller, and well,
right.
partially because Adebayo, she revealed all the secrets, and then Waller is doing her pettiness of making it to where she can't get a job, or
Or
Adebayo, but
Waller.
Economos still can. Um,
Cottabos is with Argus right now with
yeah,
Rick
Rick
Flag
Flags,
Senior.
yeah,
Yeah. So that
yeah.
was cool, seeing a bunch of all those characters back in new
Mhm.
places. Um,
Yeah, Frank Grillo was at Fan Expo Dallas this year.
oh,
Um,
nice.
I wasn't able to stop by his table, but I did see him there.
He would be
cool.
awesome to meet someday. See, I
Yeah.
can't find. I was trying to find who the character Keith plays. Peacemaker's
Mm.
brother Keith plays, and I don't. I can't find exactly who it is. I'll find it again. I'll update everybody next week.
Exactly. Way to go.
Rockato did say the Texas switch from Cena to Double was really good, and the fights were mostly well done
It
without
was.
abusing shaky cam. Absolutely. Yeah, there's some really great camera work done in this episode, and so
Mm-hmm.
I think James Gunn is a very talented filmmaker in general. He hasn't
Oh,
let me
yeah.
down yet with any of his comic book
No.
properties.
Which is rare. That's quite. I mean, because he's done 3 Guardians movies, which Guardians 2, I know people don't like. I still like it.
Yeah,
And then he did Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, or Creature Commandos. Even a lot of people slept on that. That was pretty good.
yeah.
Yeah, he has not made a bad one yet. So
Not yet, I think. But
yeah.
obviously, there's people with varying opinions out there. But
Oh well,
for
yeah,
me,
100%.
I've been loving everything he's been coming
Yeah.
out with. But let's see here. Let's see here. Adebayo, we haven't. I'm trying to think of exactly what we got for this episode. We did get a good scene with her and Peacemaker in the car,
Mm-hmm.
which is really well done. And so seeing how their relationship grew, where they trust each other a bit more, is awesome to see.
Mm-hmm.
But
I love where she takes him.
I was about to say that's exactly where I
Yeah.
was about to go with that. You're reading my
Yeah.
mind, where she takes him to get interviewed, and what a great scene that was, where
I loved it.
we got to see some of the Justice Gang of. Well, okay. First off, we actually get we see
Yeah.
a character called the White Rabbit who storms out of the
Okay.
building.
I wondered who that was. I was like, whoa.
I try to. It might be a villain that's based in Gotham. I don't remember, but I know the White Rabbit is her name. But then, what a great scene of Peacemaker being reviewed by by interviewed. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Think of
Yeah.
by Maxwell Lord officially, where we see James
Mm-hmm.
Gunn's brother Sean Gunn play him. Which this is an important thing, and I saw a comment from James Gunn I think today about it, where it's based from the original version of Maxwell Lord, written by
Oh, okay.
J.M. DeMatteis, who created the character.
Nice.
Because that's important to say of where after or leading up to, I think it was Jeff Johns, who he is one of my favorite comic creators as well. But he re-envisioned the character into something else, and that's actually the character that
Okay.
I've read a little more of, where he's a bit more muscular and I guess you could say a little more hands-on in some way, in certain ways, uh, such as, for instance, spoiler for I think it's like lead up to Infinite Crisis. You actually end up seeing Maxwell Lord essentially play an agent killing the original Blue Beetle, Ted Cord. And
Oh wow.
so, like, it's a bit of a different take on Maxwell Lord that Jeff Johns created there versus this version is based off the original one that more classic comic reader fans would know. And so,
Yeah.
I'll have to
That's
read
one
some
thing I
more.
like about. Sorry. That's
Oh, go on.
one thing I like about what James does with his projects, especially with the DCU, is he gets into the comics. He does his research and he
Yeah.
sees like how to connect everything.
Yeah. He's a
Kind
genuine
of make
fan.
Yeah.
When reading something like that, he's like, I want to harken back to what it was originally and not this
Mm-hmm.
new version. And so I think that's great to see. Welcome in Matthew saying, I enjoyed the new episode.
Hey.
Only thing is not much into the new theme as much as the first. That's fair.
Huh.
I think it's going to
Yeah.
be a theme, and maybe I'm not just saying this as somebody who's loving it or genuinely really likes it, I should say. Is that I think it'll grow on people of it just being something
Yeah.
different and can appreciate it more for being something on its own. I at least I hope that's what happens because I do think it's still a
Yeah.
great new entrance.
Because it would have been boring if he
The
tried
same
to
thing.
redo the first season. Like it would have
Right.
been like,
Yeah,
okay.
it was a good idea, I think, to make it different.
Yeah. But I love
Um,
that Maxwell Lord, thinks he's turning off his mic.
great
And
scene.
they start talking about all these random stuff or like Peacemaker's dogging on him basically, and while Peacemaker's trying to talk, and then they're talking about
Yeah.
their butts and stuff. And Peacemaker's like, I can still hear you guys. Maxwell
White,
Lord is like,
white
what?
rabbit,
Yeah.
white
Yeah.
rabbit's camel toe.
Yeah.
Uh, oh man,
Uh, but that was
what
pretty
a
funny.
scene! It was a great scene. What's
Mhm.
up, Chris? Saying the theme has a real Deadpool and Wolvie vibe. Let's see something like
Ooh,
that.
that's see. I've always thought Peacemaker always has felt like the DC Deadpool to me, with like the humor and stuff a little
I
bit.
could see, like, as far as everything we've gotten, I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
What's funny is in the comics, the closest character that I feel like I would relate to Deadpool, because Deadpool's going to be a character that does a bunch of the fourth wall breaks, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Um, the character in the comics I've read that does a really the only one I've read that does a bunch of it is a character called Ambush Bug. Uh, which
What a
I would
name.
say look him up. It's literally a humanoid bug that does stuff, and like his whole thing is that he's just I'm trying to remember what his power is. It's like that he like has some sort of ability to like
Oh wow,
know
you
other
weren't kidding.
stuff. Yeah, he's literally a big bug.
Wow.
And so yeah, that's it. But he like it always does this fourth wall breaking and stuff anytime I've
Oh,
seen
that's
him.
funny.
And so, but yeah,
Huh.
yeah. Speaking of Deadpool,
There you go.
yeah. But back to the Maxwell Lord scene, I thought it was awesome seeing Maxwell Lord because that's one of
Mhm.
those big influential characters and being closer to what the character actually is. And what's funny about that is I felt like Maxwell Lord was essentially the only redeemable aspect of Wonder Woman 84. And
Okay,
even though I really enjoyed Pedro Pascal, that wasn't Maxwell Lord at the end of the day.
I was wondering why that name sounded so familiar. I was like, and then yeah, we got beardless Pedro Pascal in Wonder Woman 1984.
Yeah,
That's right.
indeed. So that's where that because yeah, not quite you're expecting there from them.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see more Hot Girl, and of course Guy Gardner. Guy Gardner being a douche,
Nathan Fillion's great as Guy Gardner.
it's
Yeah.
perfect. Always a great scene stealer, as well.
He's like, I'm not an AV guy. I got the bodyguard to do it.
Um,
One thing that was missing was a glass of milk.
Rockato says, I feel Peacemaker's journey in TV show is above and beyond compared to live action Deadpool. Deadpool is an insane tonal clash. Feels written by two
True.
people who don't talk to each other.
Yeah.
Comic Deadpool I'm not familiar with, but I assume is better written than Ryan Reynolds. Well, you see, that's the thing is there's a bunch of different iterations of Deadpool, and
Oh yeah.
obviously since the movies, I feel like he's been kind of written a little bit more closer to how the movies interpret him and all that stuff. I'm not a huge Deadpool reader. I check it every now and then, but
Yeah. And I mainly meant from a humor standpoint, I feel like they're very similar in that
right, yeah.
aspect with the current projects that we get.
They
But
don't shy
uh,
back on particular suggestive themes, we could say, with
yeah.
with their jokes and all that, So that's for sure.
Speaking of
Matthew
which, I
saying,
know. Oh,
I'm
sorry.
guessing he is changing the theme with each season. Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, and I don't even know going forward if we'll get another season. I mean, maybe one
That's
of those
true.
things where Peacemaker and all the characters will appear in other projects.
Yeah,
Or
it's
we may get one
interesting.
like a couple years down the line. I'm not sure.
It's hard to say, isn't it? There's so much
Because like
for where the
Superman,
there's so
the
much for
next
where
time
the
we see
DC.
him, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting. So
Hmm.
definitely can't wait to see where everything's going, especially
Yeah.
as we're going to get more hints and they've been. I'm sure you've heard this about the last 3 episodes are being hyped up to be something huge
Yeah.
within itself. So I'm very excited to see where those are going, particularly episodes 6 and 8 being huge. So
Yeah.
I can't wait to see where all that's going. But obviously we have a bit to go till then. We still
Right.
have 5
Well,
weeks till we even get to season 6.
someone
Or not
made a
season
good point I saw
6.
online today that this season ends the same day that New York Comic Con starts.
Wow.
I think, or
That's,
it's either the day or maybe the day before. So there could be a lot of big DC announcements there.
I don't know if we're getting much DCU there, but
Oh, okay.
I have felt like in general in the comic world, New York Comic Con has been a
Hmm.
bigger one. And so
Is
probably
this
not.
the last? I assume this is the last DCU project for the year because isn't Supergirl next?
Yeah, I don't think next up will be Supergirl and Lanterns, which I don't think is till summer
Yeah,
next year, like June to July or
yeah.
August or something like that. Because I remember I thought Supergirl was going to be out earlier, and then I think it's a July release date if I remember right,
Oh, okay. Let me
or is it
see.
June? Something around there, and it's like, yeah,
Let's see. June 26th at the moment.
June. Okay, so yeah, pretty much then.
Yeah.
So there we go. And
Too
Matthew's
bad.
saying, wish you just recut the first season to match the new things. Yeah, like it would be nice to kind of have another cut and figure out a way of maybe trying to edit out certain lines. But that's the thing, though, is all the story beats of season one is still there. It's
Well, and
just
really out of like maybe like 3 or 4 references, nothing really ties directly to the DCEU.
yeah, it's literally just a couple points where you mention something like, well, Flash may not be a widely
Yeah.
known character at this point. Wonder Woman may not be a known character at this point. Green Arrow may not be a
Yeah.
character. But then he makes certain references. Oh, Batmite is definitely not mentioned, or mentioned, but
Right.
definitely not
Yeah.
canon. But then there's certain characters like James Gunn said, his reference of taking down Catman being like, yeah, that could have happened. Yeah, that's canon. He'd
Yeah.
say so.
He even said that the Blue Beetle movie could be made canon. Because
Right,
again, that's one that has, as far as I remember, maybe outside of Superman, has no reference to the DCEU. It's kind of was like a standalone thing.
right, and I think that's the same thing where he's just writing that story to tie right in once they redo the
Yeah.
Blue Beetle one. Rumor is they're doing an animated Blue Beetle show to follow up on that.
Yeah.
So
That
that'd
would
be
be
a cool
cool.
way to be
Mhm.
bring in some animation. Bring back great DC animation. All right.
Yeah. It's
The
been a
last
while since.
we got the I think they called it the Tomorrowverse with the Crisis
Mm.
movies and oh well, what is it? Uh, it began with Superman. I think it's called Man of Tomorrow, which I thought that was a great movie. That's a great DC animated movie. I think it's actually probably the best of the bunch there. And then they
Hmm.
had some other solid ones. They had some stinkers, and it all led up to Crisis. Oh, and they did a War World movie, which also sucked. I didn't
I
watch
need
all
to
the
get more
Crisis.
of their
I
DC
watched.
animated projects because I've
I
only
watched.
seen a couple.
There's some. I think there's some must watch ones out there for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, you Crisis movies. Those are garbage.
The
I watched
first
the
one I ever
first one.
saw was the Flashpoint movie,
Oh, that's a
and
good one. That's a
I
great
was gonna
one.
say I read that. I read the comic too, and I watched the movie right before Flash was coming out that year.
Right.
Um,
Right, because everybody thought
uh,
Flash was going to matter even more than it did.
exactly. Right, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we all saw how that turned out.
Oh yeah.
uh,
That was one of the movies of all time.
it was certainly a movie.
Yes,
Um,
there were characters that interacted. You
there
know,
was things that
there was a
happened.
first and third, second and third act. There
Uh,
was a ending credits.
there was a bunch of things that happened.
There was some good stuff. But there was definitely some stuff that was like, oh, what? How'd this get approved?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Well, speaking of things that happened, but actually, I think great. Uh, one of the standout characters for me in this episode, other than Peacemaker himself,
mhm.
was Harcourt. We see Harcourt with her like a therapist, which that whole scene I thought was
Mhm.
great. But then we got to see her have this whole own moment at the bar, which that within itself was such a
Yeah.
great choreographed scene. I was watching it, I was just like, whoa, what a great scene that was, and seeing her kick ass and all
Mhm.
that. And so she did a great job there, doing all that and seeing like really how much of a flawed character she is, which is absolutely
Mhm.
fantastic, I think. And so I can't wait to see where her story goes in this season. And
Yeah, she really like the therapist said, the toxic masculinity kind of character trait, of the but yeah, I thought that was probably my favorite. That might be one of the best choreographed fights that we've seen in the series.
yeah,
Um,
it's so good.
yeah. And then she the next morning, uh, is that before or after the therapist scene? Because she punches
That's
her
after.
dashboard.
So therapist is first,
Okay,
then the big fight.
that's right. Yeah, because then Peacemaker goes and visits her, um,
Where they
and
reference some other thing that happened that we don't know of yet.
exactly. Um, yeah.
So
Of course, we got Economos. That was great. A vigilante calling him and saying, "I know everything about owls," and then he's like, "Quiz me." First question he gets wrong.
that was funny. Oh,
Yeah.
he's
Vigilante
such
likes to
a
think
character.
that everyone is his friend and loves to talk with him
Right. Yeah.
when that is
Oh,
not the case.
vigilante.
And his
Not
his
at
points, like,
all.
when he tries to win an argument with his I guess the manager is like, "Get back to work," and he's like, "We're not friends." It's like, "Well, then why'd I come to your wedding?" He was like, "You showed up uninvited." So, it's almost like a
Oh.
little kid, like, thinking of, like, these, "Oh, got him" points. Mm,
So funny. He really is,
mhm,
it's so funny. And then we see Economos trying to spy on Peacemaker, and as Rick Flag Sr. and his assistant are trying to
mhm.
figure out exactly all of what's going on. And we can tell that obviously now that Rick Flag Sr. is at a point of power where he can actually devote these resources. And with seeing these blips that are the same with Superman, he now has the ability to get his revenge, essentially.
Mhm.
And so now he's figuring out how he can get revenge on Peacemaker without technically being out of line, you know?
Yeah.
And so the one big part of the Suicide Squad that matters, which
Yeah.
is um
Yeah, I almost thought, I know we're not gonna go too far into the scene, but I almost thought that, Peacemaker was having, like how he imagines, like, his dad. I thought he was almost hallucinating the people around him because that kinda seemed like a Peacemaker thing, and then I was like, "Oh, no, this is not a hallucination." Peacemaker just somehow invited a ton of people over. I don't know where he found the people, how he found them, maybe through Facebook random Facebook group or something, I don't know, but he found Reddit, maybe on Reddit or something, I don't know, but it was quite the scene,
it was quite a scene.
I know James Gunn said he wanted to establish that the show wasn't for kids, even though the TV mature rating should give that away, but
They
this
didn't
definitely
shy away from
confirmed.
that rating in that,
No, they
especially in
did
that scene
not.
in particular. Um,
Yeah. It's
saw
like,
a
what in
bunch
the
of
Game
saw
of
a bunch of
Thrones is going
people.
on?
Well, what's interesting though
Yeah.
is it does, as weird as that scene may be for a lot of people, it does highlight
We like it,
uh,
we're guys.
Peacemaker. It shows Peacemaker in a place where he is really struggling, where he's trying to find ways to please himself and he can't.
Yeah. He has,
He
like, no
tried.
purpose at the
He's
moment.
tried doing drugs and getting drunk
Yeah.
and all this stuff, and it's just not working for him. And that's why we see him in the place of where he is in that scene, because he's just trying to figure out, well, what can he do to,
Mhm.
you know, do like to make himself live again, or make
Yeah,
him
feel
feel something.
fulfilled almost.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so, but obviously, we see everything's bugging him about when he go, with his whole family there as he goes out, and that's obviously what leads him back into the world. And I did look it up because
Mhm.
it's bugging me where his brother Keith, the hero he plays, is somebody called Captain Triumph, who was
Yeah.
first seen. He was a Golden Age hero, first seen in Crack Comics 27. So there we
Okay.
go. The other thing that was interesting too, and I don't know if this name meant anything to you, and they brought it up a couple times, is that he was. Um, I was trying to remember, was it Keith or was it Peacemaker? One of the two was off on a mission in Bloodhaven.
It was a Peacemaker because
The other
they were like, "What
Peacemaker,
are you doing here?"
right?
Yeah.
Where I thought you were in Bloodhaven.
Yeah.
For anybody that isn't a big comic person, Bloodhaven is a big city where that is where Nightwing predominantly does his own stuff at, and so um,
Hmm.
I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure there's other big heroes, but the biggest associated hero there would be Nightwing. So,
I was
but,
just seeing randomly I had a thing pulled up from James Gunn, and it looks like he was teasing because we mentioned this earlier that Blue Beetle may make an appearance in this season.
oh, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, he didn't. He kind of said it without saying it. Someone asked him in an interview. Um, so yeah, That would be cool to see, because I liked Blue Beetle. I thought it was a bit of an underrated, kind of overlooked movie. Um,
See, my problem with
it was
Blue
solid.
Beetle,
It was like what it
yeah,
was. It did what it was trying to do, and I thought it did it well.
I think the big problem with me for Blue Beetle, and maybe I'd like it more if I rewatched it, but for me, the big problem was it's a good movie. Don't get me wrong,
Hmm.
but we're at a point where there's so many superhero movies. It just
Yeah,
felt like another origin story out there.
it
Um,
did. Yeah,
and that was the big problem. Is like, yeah, this is good, but it literally feels like we're watching Iron Man for the 100th time now.
that's
Which
true.
it's a good movie, but
I
I
think
don't
what they should almost do when you're introducing a character, Marvel would do this a little bit sometimes, is introduce a character in like a scene in someone else's movie or like a post credit scene, and then have the next project be that character. So you're at least somewhat familiar with the character before getting a movie.
Yeah, there's a bunch of
Um,
ways of where if they're gonna make an origin, they need to make it unique, and that's what I'm really curious about. Clayface's it's turning into
yeah.
it's a body horror movie to serve as his origin. So
Hmm.
it's like that'll be interesting to see how this goes about. Of actually seeing somebody's horrifying experience of turning into this clay monster.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, oh man, so many places where the season can go. I'm
Hmm.
excited to delve into more of this alternate universe
Yeah.
that a Peacemaker and his brother is all in there. Um, Seeing where more of the quantum chamber goes is going to be awesome. Seeing more of his brother and because I'm guessing now he's going to be trying to having to fit in to that other world as he now
Hmm.
wants to try to live his perfect life. I think is what's going to happen next. So I think it'll make for an interesting next episode of where things might end up going there.
I could
Um,
see like that's how he feels fulfilled, you know. I wonder if it's gonna get to the point where this Augie and Keith ever find out that he's a different Chris.
right, exactly. Get to that point, which will be very interesting. Um,
Hmm.
but overall, though, I saw people didn't like the finale. I was like, or not finale premiere. I wasn't sure why, but I
Yeah.
thought this was a great start though to the season as
Yeah, I liked it.
I think it kicked off. I think there's a strong start for what could make a great season of television. Obviously it's too early to be like, oh yeah, this is a great season when we're only one episode in. But
Hmm.
we got I think a very strong setup. It didn't shy away from getting into it, and I hope
Hmm.
that if this episode is any indicator, I'm hoping that it's a meaty episode every week. It did
Yeah,
not shy away from getting right into the multiverse. It did not shy away from just Peacemaker getting right into it. Even though it was only 40 minutes, every single minute mattered. And
exactly. It wasn't a wasted minute.
yeah, there was not a single waste of time. And that's, what these episodes should be.
Hmm.
And it was just a really good start, I think. So I can't wait to see more of it.
Well, and I know we mentioned this earlier about tone. This is even a different tone from season one. It's a slightly kind of more serious
Yeah,
tone with humor, don't get me wrong, but
right.
uh characters in a much kind of darker place than season one.
Yeah.
So
No, you're
yeah.
100% right. Is it is telling its own story, and in some way, you know, uh, while I have no doubt that I think this will, at the end of the day, at least end up being a really good show, possibly even a great show if this episode's any indicator, is uh, it is kind of a weird start. Even with this being a great show, potentially a great
Hmm.
show, is season two of a show is the first official season of a DCU live action show.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that ties in. But to your point of being totally different there, I think that can very easily um, make up for that in some regards of, with it having a different feel to a show, it can easily help set itself out from being sure, even though season one is still a thing that happened for the most part. Um,
Hmm.
you still have the season two project that just slides in right nicely after Superman. Um,
And I think that's why it almost in a way felt like the first episode of a new show. Because I think they're kind of treating it like season one is there for like the diehard
yeah,
fans like us, where we'll watch everything. Season two, they're kind of doing it to where for casual fans, like, okay, this happened,
I do wonder how
and
it would
you
turn
know,
out if you could just jump into it, because
yeah,
it picks off from the aftermaths
that's true.
to uh, of Superman. This is actually set right after Superman,
Yeah,
essentially. What's up, James? Welcome in, James Tyler. So is
James
this
Gunn. No, I'm just kidding.
to the DCAU? Is it the DC animated universe? Is that what you're
Yeah,
talking about?
yeah,
I mean, it'd certainly be interesting if another door led into the DC animated universe. I don't think so, but we'll see how they handle this multiverse story. Because James is saying they're trying to handle it being a different kind of multiverse story we haven't seen yet. Because
yeah.
obviously, it seems like everybody's doing one, and
And sometimes it can feel like a cop out, like an easy thing,
yeah,
like, oh, they're not dead because look, there's this version. But I think it was a creative way of taking something that was established in season one and
yeah.
saying, you know,
Well,
of the ways they could have done it, I think it was good.
see,
Made sense.
there's one or two things that spoilers for Superman. Anybody who hasn't watched Superman, but there, I think there's one or two things of what they did with the Ultraman in that movie. Is he's
Mhm,
either going to come back as a legit version of Ultraman. What I say of
mhm,
that is there is an Ultraman in the comics. If you look him up, he's essentially an evil Superman.
hmm.
Like similar colors. One says a U on his chest, and that's what Ultraman is in the comics. And so they kind of did that. Other than that, he's not his own thing, but a spoiler alert clone. But also with what I was going to say with they could also potentially just make him Bizarro, though, is easily. But either way, though, of if they choose to bring back that character, either way, that's still supports this narrative of alternate DC worlds that it goes to, and would end up just thriving there, whether it's the Bizarro world or whether it's where in the comics
Mhm.
where Ultraman and all the other evil version of the Justice League, what is their name? They have another the Crime Syndicate is what they're called.
That's okay.
Is that they reside on Earth 3, and so that's why I think it'd be really interesting if like that was all on Earth 3, is where
Mhm.
he ends up going, and all the evil Justice League ends up forming to be the evil threat against the Justice League. Once we actually get the Justice League, I think would be really cool. That's what I think would be
Mhm.
really cool to actually see. But we'll see where everything goes. So, and very excited for this new multiverse story
Oh, yeah.
as well, because there's so much exciting stuff to
It's a
come.
good time to be a DC fan.
Yeah,
Um,
really. I mean, we've kind of gotten a bit spoiled with Superman and then this, and it looks
yeah,
like
that's true.
we're not really getting much else until pretty much a year from now with Supergirl and Lanterns.
That's
So we'll see
true.
what happens. But you know what? You're right. This is going to keep us fed until October. So
Mhm.
we'll be eating good for the next 7 weeks, hopefully, and we'll be
Yeah.
here talking about it every week, Saturday 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. So make sure to come back
And
in,
we
tune back
I
in.
don't know if we've announced it yet, but we do have something in the works for after Peacemaker.
Yeah, we haven't said officially what, but we are
Yeah.
planning on continuing doing stuff and at least the same day, as well. And
That's
so
your tease for now.
yeah. So just know that the DC content will not stop with Peacemaker here, at least. And so we're excited for what that'll be. I'm not going to officially say anything until we get a
I was
bit
just
closer.
yeah, we gotta
So,
wait.
but you all got to wait for what that may be. Just come back in 8 weeks and you'll see. But
Exactly. That's how you
uh,
keep them hooked, you know?
exactly. So, but I think that pretty much does it. I think we've said everything there is to be said about this
Yeah.
episode.
Good solid episode, yeah.
Yeah, go give it a watch, and great stuff. Where can everybody find you at?
Yeah, you can find me over on the Feast of Phantoms YouTube channel for MCU Monday and Cantina Happy Hour. For MCU Monday, we're working through Jessica Jones right now, which has
Excellent.
been a lot of fun.
I need to
Um,
watch that.
I was gonna say it's a solid show. I've only seen season one so far. It's got 3 seasons because I'm working through the Defenders saga for the first time. Getting
Yeah,
stuck on Iron Fist, which is it's a watch. It's a show. And then Cantina Happy Hour, we're doing a rewatch of Clone Wars, which is a lot of fun.
so
We
great.
just did the Hidden Enemy the other night, which is a
That's
pretty good
what
episode.
season is that? Is that still season 1 you all are in?
Still season 1. Yes, we did. We're on
So
episode 16.
so let me ask you this: do you have
Mhm.
when I rewatch Clone Wars after a
Mhm.
while, I kind of have had like this newfound appreciation of. Don't get me wrong. Once you
Mhm.
hit the midpoint in season 3, the show gets so much better.
Yeah.
But I think for me, when I went back and rewatched it,
Mhm.
I found a lot more appreciation out of those first 2.5 seasons before the show got a lot better.
Mhm.
Have you all felt that way too? Of like just like
Yeah, I would say
there's some
so.
really
I
good stuff I think in there, even though that's not as memorable in the long
Yeah,
run.
because this is my second time watching through the show all the way from start to finish.
Yeah,
And yeah, I can say for people that go, "Oh, it's rough." I'm like, not really. Hasn't really been an episode where I was like, "Oh, that was rough."
yeah.
Um, so yeah,
Like,
no, I think they're good.
yeah, as I was gonna say, I think the show definitely gets better
Oh,
after a
100%.
certain point.
Yeah,
But like I said, I just found this newfound appreciation after I rewatched those
yeah.
episodes, and I was like, these are still good episodes, though. Like they're not
Yeah,
bad
it's
at
yeah.
all. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's definitely
Shows you how
some here,
good it gets
but
after. It shows you how good it gets by season 3.
yeah,
But
no,
yeah, no,
it's great.
I'm enjoying it. So
Awesome. Well, go check out
yeah.
Feast of Phantoms. They're tagged down below, so make sure to go check them out, give them a follow, and tune into all the fun shows that they're involved in that you see Andrew on as well.
Mhm.
Go check out Cam and Focus as well. Where what are you all talking about tomorrow night?
We are so Cam is doing his subscriber goal celebration where he's taking a spoonful of the hottest hot sauce he could
Oh yeah,
find
I gotta
before the
watch that.
show and is I'm assuming not having any milk or water on hand. And so we will be discussing two Neil Breen movies. I watched I Am Here Now, and he watched or is watching Pass Through. And if you're listening and you don't know who Neil Breen is, I just look him up. I encourage you to
See, I
just look him
looked him
up.
up and I still don't even know who he
Exactly, because his writing is very feast or famine. He either just gives you all this exposition or it's so cryptic. Even you're like, I don't know what's going on. You just sit there for an hour and 20 minutes and go, nothing happened. It was just shot to the desert for an hour and 20 minutes in stock footage. So yeah, it's gonna be quite the conversation. I'm looking forward to it.
Alrighty, well, I will tune in and have no idea what you all are talking about, but
We won't
that's a
either.
great one. See, James here knows who you're talking about, saying Neil Breen is the greatest director ever made.
He
I don't know
is.
who this guy is, and so
He is and ahead of his time, I would say, underappreciated, you know.
yeah, I have no clue what's going on here.
I watched one of his movies today. I still don't know what's going on.
James said he's even better than. How do you say this? I'm probably going to completely butcher this. Bowl.
Let me see. Let me look. I gotta go to the stream since I don't see the chat on here.
uh,
I was gonna say
hard to pull off. Yeah, I don't know who that is. Who do I
I'll
even
see who the name
know?
is. Let's see.
Let's see. A German filmmaker. Who did he make? Oh, hold on. I'm looking at ways, man. Hold on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Neil Breen is. There's Nolan and Denis Villeneuve who's like here, and like your David Finchers are here, and Neil Breen you can't even see. He's way off the charts. Like it
Right,
just,
obviously.
it's.
Interesting. This
But
is certainly a person. Uwe.
got the what's his name again?
Let's see. I'm looking at it. I'll send it to you after this, so
Okay,
you can
because
just.
I may or may not know some of his work. I don't know, but
Yeah,
uh,
I'm not. I'm looking at so some movies here. Produced Alone in the Dark. Rampage.
is that the one with the Rock?
No, it's a 2009 one. He was a producer of.
Oh, okay, because I think the
He's a
Rock's in a movie
producer
called.
of a bunch of director.
Okay,
Producer, yeah, interesting.
okay.
What is this?
Hmm.
What is this?
Yeah,
What
Neil
does?
Breen is a
See, okay,
special guy.
I don't know what's going on here. Anyway,
We've gone into our own multiverse
you
of
sent me
other
into a rabbit
topics.
hole here, James. of me trying to figure out who this guy is, and I still don't even know who this guy is. But hey, here we are. I'm gonna send you an IMDb link to this guy so you can see this.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's certainly something, I gotta say. Anyway, without further ado, next thing from the Dingiston on YouTube will actually be exactly 1 week from now, where we go into talking about episode 2 of Peacemaker, which will be exciting. Excited to delve into more of the show. I cannot wait for the show. It's so great to have something to look forward to weekly of just a universe you care about, and having something to look forward to every week, which is great. Especially
I like that they didn't do the 2-episode premiere. A lot of shows do that 2-episode premiere.
It is here's the thing: is some of those shows it really much helps of making sure you have enough substance to keep you hooked.
True.
This one accomplished that in the 40 minutes, and great job to it. And that's what I have to say about it. Everything else, I am probably going to end up going live on Twitch shortly after this, because I am a maniac doing more stuff. So for any Twitch people, awesome. Go check out me doing some Twitch stuff here shortly after. Some Twitch shenanigans, so stay tuned for that. But for everybody else, have a good night. Thank you so much for joining me on this great night, Andrew. So we were talking about a lot of fun. Yes, it was a lot of fun. We delved into certain things I was not expecting to dive into. and it's gone on for a little longer than I thought it would as well. Somehow, just wait for next week. Thank you all, everybody, so much for being here as well. Matthew, James, Chris, Rockato, thank you all so much for coming by. And any lurkers as well. Always appreciate it. And anybody watching on the replay. Until next time.